small ways, and it becomes a lot easier to share the opportunity and the products with people if you believe in it. So the first step to me is to believe in what you're doing, and believe in the products, believe in the opportunity, and then it's an easy share. It's something you want to tell people about because you're genuinely excited about it. You're not thinking, oh, I have to talk to 10 people today. It's, I want to talk to 10 people today because I want to tell them about the product and the opportunity and how it's changed my life. まず会社を信用するという自分を作ることですね。それと自分自身がニュースキーを担当する人間になることです。で、私が考えたことは、自分を通して後ろにニュースキーになるということです。まず自分自身がニュースキーの広告宣伝になることが私は一番だと思います。それをすることによって皆さんの前で、笑顔であったりとか、私の体全部がニュースキーというふうに思ってくださったら、まずそれが自信になります。それを見て、私を見て、ニュースキーというものを評価します。その評価することによって、ニュースキーのイメージがすごく変わる。ですから私は自分自身が本当の意味でのニュースキーが大好きな人間だと、錯覚でもいいからそう思いたいと思っています。
The core fundamentals, in my opinion, of this business, just like any business, there's a certain skill set. I don't care what job you have, what business you're in, there's a certain skill set you need to acquire. You got to learn to love people, learn to read people, learn to see if they're the kind of person you even want to work with.
That's the only common denominator, I think, that I see amongst all our most successful distributors. A willingness to work harder than other people. The most successful distributors I've met are the people that take consistent action every single day. What is that action? That action is talking to people every single day. That action is sponsoring people every single day. That action is training people every single day. Without a doubt, the people that don't do those things end up quitting the business because they couldn't figure out how to do it.
It is so important to focus in this business. If you have an upline that is training you, do what that upline says. Just verbatim, do what the upline says, and you will be successful. If that upline is very successful, he has a track record, or she has a track record, and if you follow it, you will make it. But you have to do it. And don't get sidetracked. Don't get confused by a lot of different things, but stay focused on what you know is going to work. And never even ever dream of quitting, because we have had more people in our business that said, oh, if we had just stuck it out. Oh, if we had just, and then they come back after like 10 years. Now they're back and they're doing well. And they said, if we only had stayed, we would have already succeeded. And so it's really key to be focused and stick to it.
Each category that we talked about, belief, knowledge and skill, and action, are vitally important. You see, you can have all the belief in the world and all the knowledge and skills in the world, but if you don't take action, nothing will happen. On the other hand, you could have all the belief in the world and you could take all the massive action that you can muster. But if you're moving in the wrong direction, if you don't have the right knowledge and skills, strategies and processes, then you're going to end up at an undesirable destination. Thirdly, you can have all the skills and knowledge, and you can take massive action. But if you don't have the belief in yourself or in your business, then your success will be short-lived. For example, in America, there's this thing called the lottery, where a few handful of people can win huge amounts of money by chance. However, did you know that statistically, 95% of those who win the lottery either lose it, squander it, give it away, or file bankruptcy within the first 5 years. Now, why would that be? Well, one major reason is that they haven't developed a millionaire mindset. They haven't become the person that is equal to the accomplishment. Therefore, based on the law of attraction, they couldn't sustain it. Even a mountain climber knows that he cannot take shortcuts or skip important stages of the climb by simply reaching the summit by helicopter. The climber knows that if he doesn't get properly acclimated by ascending gradually, he could become very sick and even die. I remember once as a young boy, I went to the local swimming pool and for the first time ever decided to jump off the high dive. I climbed the ladder and walked out to the end of the diving pool. When I got there, I looked down and oh man, there was no way I was going off the end of that diving board. So I turned around and immediately got down. Now, why did that happen? I had taken the action to get to the end of the diving board. I had all the skills needed. I mean, I had been off the low dive hundreds of times. But when I got there, I lacked belief. I didn't believe I could do it. Now, maybe you've noticed this little colored area in the center of the diagram. This is where you have the greatest power in your life. All achievement or failure rests on this one little category. We call it choice. Choice is the seed of all greatness. Choice is what separates you and I from the animal kingdom. We can choose what we want to think about, and we can choose where we want to go. We can choose to either be the victim of our circumstances, or we can choose to be the victor.
Our lives are the greatest one that our choices. Things happen to us. People who seem to succeed and arrive in that worthy, worthwhile places get there because of their choices. They're electing to do things that will guide them towards their goals.
Choice is the single greatest tool for building your life into the life you dream of. Think about it. You get to choose how your attitude will be today. When someone says to you, "How are you?" you choose to be negative or to say, "Fantastic." It's up to you. It's your choice. You also choose how to run and live your business. Every day, you make the choice whether or not you're going to talk to someone about the business or not. I once read about an expedition that turned disastrous. The Whitaker brothers, Lou and Jim, led the expedition. They were strong men, standing over 6 feet tall. While crossing a glacier in Alaska, one of the members of the expedition team fell and broke his leg. He needed medical attention immediately. They were out in the middle of nowhere, on top of Mount McKinley, and time was running out. The sun was beginning to go down, and the temperature was dropping fast. So they radioed for a jet helicopter, but it was unavailable. In its place, a standard helicopter was called to perform the rescue, but it did not do so well at high altitude. Finally, the helicopter arrived. They quickly loaded the climber into the helicopter, but the added weight of the injured man prevented the helicopter from lifting off the ground. It began getting dark and very cold very fast, so the Whitakers were forced to improvise. They each grabbed a rail of the helicopter and heaved it off the edge of the cliff. The Whitakers watched as the helicopter fell like a rock. Finally, halfway down, the blades of the helicopter caught air and it flew toward the hospital. Sometime later, Jim Whitaker was asked, "What if it hadn't worked?" Jim replied, "Sometimes you just know." So when you're faced with making difficult choices, slow down, listen, and make the best choice you can make. As long as your good choices outweigh your bad ones, you'll make great progress. The moment you try to defend your current circumstance by making excuses is the moment you stop progressing. That is the exact moment when you have chosen to make your future very different.
There's a saying, success is by choice, not by chance. You choose to become successful, and you stay on course until you really can make it. It's not by chance.
So for me, choice means commitment. When you look at the plan and you look at yourself in your plan, you have to make a choice. You have to make a commitment. And you have to have the clarity of where you're going so you can get there.
I believe that it is an eternal principle that men are free, women are free. That all of the things that can affect our lives, we are still left at the end of the day with choice. It's the choices we make that determine the lives that we live.
So you've heard a lot about the fundamentals, and this ingredient is called the power of fundamentals. Well, you might be asking yourself, what in the heck are the fundamentals? Discovering the best practices from your business and from those successful people around you will be one of the greatest tools you've ever had for building a very successful business.
이 사업의 기본 토대는 크게 세 가지입니다. 첫째, 여러분이
왜 이 사업을 시작하는지에 대한 답변이 명확해야 하는 거죠. 사업의 목적이 분명하지 않은 상황에서 진행이 된다면 마치 브라운드의 선수가 되는 것이 아니라 관중석에 앉아 경기를 관전하는 제석자가 될 겁니다. 둘째는 큰 목표가 있어야 할 것이고 그 아래에 단계별로 여러 개의 세부 목표가 수립되어야 합니다. 마지막 세 번째는 바로 실천인데요. 많은 분들이 이 부분에서 매우 힘들어합니다. 왜 그럴까요? 편견 변화일까요? 성격이 나약함일까요? 아닙니다. 사업의 목적이 명확하지 않기 때문입니다.
One theme that I'll return to over and over again, which seems to be the single best practice if you want to be successful in this business, is helping other people, improving other people's lives. That's the secret to success. It's the one theme that I return to over and over and over again, because my observation is that's the very thing that's made the company successful. That's the very thing that's made our most successful distributors achieve their potential and beyond. That's the very thing that makes people's dreams come true.
I think we certainly do not want to discourage people from being innovative and from being creative in order to build out the business. But hopefully they'll also be smart enough to recognize that a lot of the lessons have already been learned. And they should look at people who are successful in the business and learn about how they did it, learn how they do it. Because there's a high likelihood they've made a lot of mistakes that hopefully people can avoid along the way.
僕はね、それはね、まずはやってみせるってことなんですよ。どんな、赤ちゃんでも、子供でも、自転車に乗りたいって言えば、じゃあ乗らせるよりも、じゃあパパが乗るところを見てる。自分がまず模範を見せて、やってみせて、でそしてやらせてみせて、褒めてあげる。
People try to go through the process, they would face a lot of roadblocks, and they always think that they are smarter than the others. They always try to figure out something new. However, actually, we saw, so many people all going through about the same path to lead them to the final success, especially in our industry. We don't need to reinvent the engine. The key is, you follow the people who already walked through all those roadblocks and achieved their success.
Well, to me, the business is four things. It's the people, product, plan, and opportunity. But you have to start with that people. And that people is the skills that a good distributor has. They know what their downline, they know what their customers want, and they can satisfy that with passion.
This is a people business. We make our living by selling things to people and by helping people to sell things to other people. By building a community that's really sustaining it to be successful. Because we're a people business, we've got to be people.
You may have seen that familiar painting of Vincent van Gogh's called Sunflower. It's been printed in many, many forms. It hangs on people's walls, postcards, stamps, and stationery. Interesting enough, Vincent van Gogh's life story tells of an incident that applies to what we're talking about, the fundamentals. Vincent had not been a very good student. He had been lacking in direction. He had been a big disappointment to his brother Theo, who was financing his education. In a confrontation, Vincent said, "But I want to paint. I have something inside me that says I must paint. Don't pin me down. Don't pin me down. I must paint." His brother replied, all right, but learn how to hold the brush. If you want to be a great presenter, learn how to move the audience. Learn how to look your audience in their eyes. Practice telling stories. If you want to be a doctor, then learn what makes the body tick. If you want to build a successful business here in Michigan, then learn its history. Learn what makes this organization great, and then learn what the successful are doing, and then go and do it.
In the early days of Michigan, there were many days when we wondered whether we were going to be able to keep the lights turned on the next day. I have known personally what it is to have no money in the bank and have your income stream be about an hour long, and you just could not see at the end of the week. As a company, we were very conservative in the way we managed the company, so we were always careful then and now to ensure that if there's extra money, the first place that's going to go is into the necessities to keep the business rolling, and then secondly to our own business strategy is a pretty tough family strategy. You've got to figure out how to get to the end of the week. You've got to have confidence that you and your family aren't going to be left doing without. The thing that got me through and gets me through those kinds of periods is just the belief that the fundamentals of the business enterprise that we were involved in then and involved in today are sound. And that if we make most of our decisions well, we don't have to be right all the time. But if we're right more often than not, that those fundamentals ultimately represent safety net for the people. Safe and moving forward. I think that's true with every distributed business of every decision in life. If the fundamentals behind the decision are sound, then we got to go forward with faith that those fundamentals ultimately will carry us through.
I think the message is pretty clear. Keep it simple. There is no advanced course for building this business. The basics, which work on day one, will still be working for you on day 1001. I think my dear friend Clara said it as well as anyone did. Stick with the basics and do those things over and over again. Stephen Covey once said, "We are neither a product of nature or nurture. We are a product of choice." So choose today to follow the wise advice of those whom you have just heard from. Believe in yourself, believe in this business, and know that by helping others achieve their dreams, you will ultimately achieve yours. The power of fundamentals is another very important ingredient in the success formula. So your action item for today is this. Go to your workbook, a journal, or something, and write down a list of what you believe to be the best practices for building your business. Those best practices could be from your own successful experience, or from the experiences of those who have gone before you, your upline, your team. Then review that list frequently, and make sure that you're not deviating from it at all. Be sure to watch this video often. Before you know it, I'll be back to share with you the next ingredient in the success formula.
Vamos a dejar el de los pensamientos para más adelante y este sí está dentro de los tiempos, por eso lo dejamos completo, media hora. Entonces, estaba tomando... Ay, caramba, perdón un segundo. Estaba grabándolo para dejarlo de una vez como enlace en YouTube y que lo puedan ver los que no entraron, pero queda doble el sonido. Bueno, espero que me estén escuchando. ¿Cómo vamos entonces? Reflexiones sobre el tema. Los escucho. ¿Quién? ¿Me han estado escuchando? Creo que...
Sí, señora, sí te escuchamos.
Perfecto. Gracias, Pau. Entonces, reflexiones sobre el tema, ¿qué les quedó de la claridad y de lo fundamental? Perdón. ¿Qué? Ay, Dios.
Bueno, yo entré un poco tarde, pero algo que me pareció como interesante de lo que alcancé a escuchar es, pues, lo que tú decías en algún momento de mantener las creencias en el negocio, en la compañía. Y era algo que ahí decía Sandy, que si uno no usa los productos y no cree en los productos, pues esa es la base como fundamental. Y algo que, una frase que era, manténgalo sencillo. No hay que inventar la rueda, porque pues es escuchar a las personas que ya han tenido éxito y sí, a veces de pronto uno, y sobre todo cuando uno está comenzando el negocio, le cuesta un poco y dependiendo de lo que uno haya hecho, pues quiere venir a inventarse cosas y ellos decían, pues, ¿Dónde está la frase? No caer en búsquedas, sino ir por las lecciones que ya han sido exitosas.
Eso me encanta. ¿Y cuánto hemos visto que hacemos eso?
Creo que la mayoría, al principio siempre tenemos como un montón de pues siempre como, bueno,